closer than we wanted it to be last night, Keefe, for the Red Sox.
My
guy Alcala
stinks.
really doing his best to butcher that last night.
Yeah.
Good inning out of Matz.
Yeah.
Good throw from Brayan once he got into the game because it was getting dangerously close there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the Red Sox do get another win. Hottest team in baseball, 6 in a row, 8 out of 10. They remain comfortably up in the wild card race.
2.5. They got clear on both the Yankees and the Mariners.
Correct. And
those are teams that are also in the playoffs. So what is it now for?
They're 4 up, I believe, on the
go.
Rangers. I'm double-checking that right now. Yeah, Rangers are a game and a half back of the Yankees and Mariners, which would mean 4 games.
But that was closer than you needed it to be. They were up 8-1, and then in comes Whitlock and Chapman. I don't think you expected that, but still, those guys came in. Whitlock, a couple of runners allowed, but then Chapman comes in, mows everybody down. He's up to 21 saves now, but the offense scored a bunch of runs. They had a ton of hits. They still, though, did have a bunch of errors.
Oh, yeah.
Some of that stuff, they haven't shook that.
Bello had one. Durant had another later on. Durant had a great game. The 3-run homer. He had the great catch as well. He had an error late.
But he giveth and taketh away in the outfield. He's a strange outfielder. He has some great plays where oh, look at that. And then there's other ones where you're like, wait, what are you doing? Or whether it's playing the ball off the wall wrong or not going for a ball that was just foul. That was he maybe could have caught. He's kind of an adventure in the outfield. But no, overall, he's shown more and more power as of late. And what is he up to 12 home runs now? So yeah, no, he had overall a good game, but there's still a few weird things.
Red Sox score 5 right away. They score 8 in the game last night. They continue to move their way up the standings in terms of runs scored in baseball and in the American League. They are currently, only 16 runs behind the Yankees for the most runs in the AL. They're top 5 in baseball. So we'll get to Roman Anthony coming up, Keith. That was scary yesterday. There's no doubt about that when he's a late scratch right before the game.
Yeah. That
sounds like nothing to be overly concerned about, or is there some concern? We'll get to that coming up. But their offense feels locked in. I wanted a righty bat at the trade deadline more than I wanted a starter. Certainly more than I wanted the bum-ass players that they got, although Matz gave you another good inning last night. Is it fair to say the offense is just legit? Post Rafi Devers, they average more than 5 a game. Again, they're 4th in baseball, 2nd in the AL in runs scored. They're closing that gap on all the teams in front of them because they're scoring so much specifically at home.
Yeah.
Is it fair to just say we should trust in the offense and it's legit?
Yeah, they score. It's funny because you watch them; they do overall score a lot of runs, but it's one of those teams that say they average 5 runs a game. They actually never score 5 runs. They score 10, or they score 2 or 1, and then it averages out to 5. So there'll be a stretch where it's frustrating, and they're barely clawing their way through 1 or 2 runs. Then there are other nights where they just pour it on. So I still would have wanted one extra bat. Now they do have. Because of Romy and Refsnyder, you do have a pretty
smash lefties.
You got a good lineup against lefties. So if you face I'm trying to think Max Fried's a lefty, right? There are a couple of guys that you might face in the playoffs that are a lefty. That's not a team that they would want to face. So they definitely do that well. I would have wanted one more bat, and let's see what happens with Roman Anthony. Wishful thinking that he's going to be fine. But with Bregman in there and Durant swinging it the way that he is, he was such a swing player, and we talked about it in the first half. He was disappointing. I know people are still commenting on our midseason superlatives where we said Durant was surprising in a bad way. People are losing their minds about it. But he went from being 8th in the MVP last year to not even an all-star snub, just a no-doubt not all-star. So, yeah, that was a bit down, but he's turned that around a little bit. They've moved him around the order. He's got more – he's was in all those trade rumors. Now he's obviously going to be here, at least for the rest of this season. And if he's swinging a hot bat, that changes the lineup. And he's doing that right now.
And he hits lower in the order against lefties. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think he was 6 or 7 in the lineup yesterday.
To start the game yesterday, yeah.
I was looking at his numbers. Almost all of his lack of production is against left-handed pitching this year. He's hitting .294 with an .897 OPS against righty pitching.
Yeah.
So, and I think almost all of his home runs, 10 out of his 12 home runs, are against righties.
You don't want him to be a platoon player, but the splits would suggest he should be.
What I would say is their lineup against lefties, where they move Rafaela to second, that's a really legit lineup where you have, and where was Rafaela last night, I should say? He was in center last night
because of the scratch, yeah. So Romy was at second.
But they will have him at second quite a bit. to get all their guys in there. I think it's a pretty legitimate lineup when you have Ref Snyder and Romy Gonzalez, etc., everybody in there. And then they can kind of pick and choose which lefty they want in. Is it Durant against the lefty or is it Abreu against the lefty?
Yeah,
again, last night they had to wind up doing both.
Like Toro's been good. Like he's been better than certainly I expected him to be at first base. But that's the one spot still to me where you're like, all right, if you had upgraded there, if you had gotten even like Suarez or Naylor, one of the guys the Mariners got. I know Suarez isn't a traditional first baseman, but just if you had somebody like that playing first, maybe you feel a little bit better. Like, all right, they did everything they could do. Whereas now you're still just like fingers crossed that Toro continues to have, a great season.
So I would say on paper, do I think it's a great lineup? I don't. But production-wise, it's hard to ignore.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they started poor. You made this point earlier. Like the runs come in bunches. They went 1-0-6-2-1 their first 5 games out of the break, and they lost 4 out of those 5 games. Since then, 9-2, 4-4, 4-8, 13, 2-1 a victory, 7-6-8. I mean, they have been scoring of late. Yeah. And so the production's been there, but I agree with you. Just anecdotally looking at the lineup, I'm not sure it feels truly elite. And they're much better at home, for whatever reason, Keefe. Whether that's Cora and his expertise.
The friendly confines.
Whether it's the way they play well at home, I don't know.
Well, we know Bregman. It was a big deal made about Bregman's numbers at Fenway Park, and so we were like, maybe it's just the Red Sox pitching kind of thing. But he is a great Fenway Park hitter, and that's continued.
Let me ask you this too, Brayan Bello. I wouldn't say was excellent last night. He was charged with no earned runs.
Yeah,
I think he was really lumped in with the 1 run since he's the one who made the error. But let me ask you. With Tarek Skubal leading the AL in ERA, 2.18, Garrett Crochet is second at 2.23. Where do you think Brayan Bello is in ERA rank in the American League?
Oh, in the American League?
Mm-hmm.
10?
9.
I was going to say, because he lowered it to, he's like just over 3, right? He lowered it.
He's at 3.03.
Yeah. Good.
Where do you, Giolito does not qualify? Where do you think Giolito would rank in the American League?
Oh, is he 7? No, he's 12?
He is a little lower than that. He's just outside the top 15 at 17.
Crazy.
The Red Sox, Houston, and Kansas City are the only team with multiple pitchers in the top 10 in ERA in the American League. The Astros have Hunter Brown, 3, and Framber Valdez, who you just destroyed the other day, 8. Red Sox have Crochet and Bello, 2 and 9. Royals check in with Bubich,
Boobs,
and Lugo at 4 and 10, and the Royals are now a game below 500. So, I mean, out of American League playoff teams, you have the best starting pitching combo.
Brayan Bello.
And people are crying about Joe Ryan. Castig, stand by. Where do you think Joe Ryan ranks in the AL in ERA?
7.
Yeah, that is correct. He is 7th.
Well, those three guys are dominating. Those 3 guys have been great. I still stand by everything I said at the deadline, leading into the deadline, and following the deadline. They should have added another starter.
Look, you can always use another starting pitcher. I'm not arguing with that take. What I would say is I think people might be sleeping on how well those guys are pitching relative to the rest of the American League playoffs. But that's all. It might not be sustainable.
That's it.
But that is what they're doing.
But that's what people are saying. After every good start, and there's been a lot of them by both Bello and Giolito, it's the question, do you trust them? Do you trust them? And then even if you do, great.
Do you trust them in October?
Put them at 3 and 4, but get somebody to be the 2, right?
Totally fair.
You're not taking either one of those guys out of the rotation. You're taking Walker Buehler out.
Look, you could always add. I'm not arguing with that, but the idea that they may not have the pitching, I'm not sure. They might have it. The way those guys are pitching, they might have it. That feels like falling for the same thing I was falling for going into the deadline, Keefe.
I gotcha.
And that's not an excuse not to make a deal. Although Ken Rosenthal did say the Red Sox were a lot closer. He backed away from his feeble, quote-unquote, pursuit of Joe Ryan. He backed away from that.
Well, they still didn't get him. So how about this? ESPN did a stock watch. They did a post-deadline stock watch for all 30 teams.
Oh, good.
See this at all?
No.
So, first of all, they rank them 1 through 30.
Yep, where are the Sox?
But they also tier them. So this is what you've always wanted. This is
a rank and a tier.
A rank within the tier.
I love that. We should do that with the ice cream coming up.
So there are 6 teams in the top tier contender. Do you think they're one of the 6 teams?
No,
they're not. There are. Then there's a second tier contender, teams with playoff odds between 40 and 89%.
Well,
so there's also a number.
They're definitely in that, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're actually 10th overall. And they give you a win average in the playoff percentage champion. So win average 88.9 is what they're suggesting. In the playoffs, 87.6%. That's pretty good.
That's very high. Yeah.
Lingering concern.
I was trying to wrap my head around that number. I'm sorry. The percentage that they're going to make.
Yeah,
the playoffs
round up
is
88%. They're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Lingering concern.
Uh-huh.
What do you think it is?
Well, I'm guessing based on the reason we're talking about it, starting pitching.
Starting rotation.
Uh-huh.
The little write-up. They do a nice little.
Well, who's
little paragraph.
Who's the dork who wrote this? I would take exception with whoever wrote it. Is what I'm telling you.
Bradford Doolittle.
Oh, Bradford Doolittle.
Yeah,
you
Bradford Doolittle. Okay, Dr. Doolittle decided to write about this. He talks to animals. He said, "This team makes a lot more sense if you plug a true number 2 or a co-number 1 in the rotation next to Garrett Crochet."
Okay, well, here's what I'm telling you. You could write that about any team in the American League. That's what I'm saying.
He didn't write that about the Yankees.
Okay, but you could.
The Red Sox are playing so well, it seems greedy to quibble, he says. But what will this look like in the playoffs? Some teams tread water with the rotation and ride the bullpen in October. Boston's bullpen has been solid, but it seems like the Red Sox will need more balance. Boston needs big finishes from every starter not named Crochet and Crochet too.
Okay, I mean, the Yankees.
Weird write-up.
Yankees right now, their top pitcher is Max Fried, 5th in the AL in ERA. It's just one measurement. And Carlos Rodon is their next best at 15. He's closer to Giolito.
The Yankees' lingering concern? Run prevention.
Okay, well, so look, I just, if he's writing that about the Red Sox, write it about the Red Sox. You can write it about every team in the AL is what I'm telling
He
you.
didn't write that about the Blue Jays.
He should.
Their lingering concern? Anthony Santander.
Okay.
One man's opinion.
All right.
Okay.
It's Bradford Doolittle.
Yep.
Not to be confused with Ben Fox. Interesting sourcing on the program today. We'll talk to Tommy Curran at 1 o'clock today after a walkthrough where, by the way, Greg Bedard getting a little salty with it. Let me get his
exact. He doesn't like the walkthrough?
He thinks we have far too many walkthroughs, seems to be the critique. Hang on, let me get the exact wording.
It's probably in the CBA, though. Aren't these guys not allowed to hit that
He said,
much?
find something you love as much as Mike Vrabel loves training camp walkthroughs.
Oh, boy.
It's the
shots fired.
The 3rd in 11 practices. I think that's his guy, too, so ouch.
Well, I think they're going to ramp it up tomorrow.
Bedard being a little critical of the approach. You're right. It should be fully ramped up for a joint practice tomorrow. Jones and Keefe at Patriots Training Camp, Day 11. It's a walkthrough. We're brought to you by McFarland Energy.